Hello class, and welcome to the how-to guide for assignment A 4.1. So we're going to continue doing the video. I've gotten a different microphone, so hopefully it's a better quality here, at least for the audio of the microphone, and hopefully the video quality will be better as well this time. Something I want to emphasize as we start this assignment is you need to make sure you have a folder in Documents with your name on it that you can save your files to, zip your files in before you submit them. Keep them all in one spot. The reason for this is that a lot of the confusion that is happening in this class is because people just aren't saving their files in the right spot. And so when they're asked to open up an old file and rename it, which is what you've been doing, people get confused and it gets messed up. So let's save you the trouble, save me the trouble, save your folders in one spot. And so as we work on the exercise today, I have my files here. Now when you download the instructions, you can see it's labeled A4.1 instructions. It'll end up in your downloads folder. I'd copy it, paste it over here inside of your folder, and then you want to extract it. Now you could also extract it from Documents to this folder. That would work fine too. But let's do that together. So I'm going to extract it. So I click on it, Extract tab up here, and then I choose Extract All. And it's just going to extract it to that folder, and it makes a folder of the contents inside of here, A4.1 instructions. So let's take a look at our instructions. So I'm going to open up the HTML file, which is going to open up Microsoft Edge, maybe Firefox for you. And as it loads here, it's on my laptop, so it may be a little bit slow. The purpose for this, from what you learned in this module, you'll add a little CSS, so cascading style sheets, to your website. Check for any validation errors, and also upload your site to a web server for the world to see. The nice thing with this assignment is we finally get to see kind of the fruit of our labor, because obviously you aren't making a website to just sit on your computer or sit on a flash drive. You're making it so that way other people can see it, and hopefully it's useful to them. And we finally get to kind of see a little bit of that today. So this assignment will be more about learning how to upload your website to a web server and learning how validation works than doing much with your HTML and CSS. So requirements: duplicate assignment folder. Create a duplicate of your A3_1 last name folder and rename it to A4_1 last name, just like you did for the last assignment. So this is why it's very important that you hang on to past assignments and they all stay in the same folder. Now I'm going to put on Plus Portals, in case you don't have your file, a copy of my own version of it. Now you're going to have to go in and edit the information. So obviously you're not me, so you got to put your name in. I'm not going to have a picture of myself, therefore you're going to have to change that. So you could download that from Plus Portals. Otherwise, if you have it in your folder, let's go over to that and take a look at it. Now we need to duplicate it. So the best way really to do this would be, since I have a zipped version of it, to actually just extract it. Now if you have the actual folder, you could right click on it and copy it, paste it, and just rename it. But instead, because I just have a zip, I'm going to choose Extract All, extract it here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the name of it. It's like this, A4_1, just like that. And then I believe it has one in here. Yours might not, but A4.1. Just update those numbers. And then right here we can see we have our files. And so it says here in the instructions even too. I'm going to snap it to the side so we can see it. So create a duplicate of your A3 folder. We just did that. And index.html, that's in here. HTML.html, that's also in here. And then as well as a folder named Images with a picture view. And we can see the picture view, and you'll also notice that there should be a syntax picture as well located on here. So it's not in this picture, but you should, or in this one, but you should have that located inside of your folder. Alright, now you'll notice here in our instructions it says here, just like HTML.html document in your last assignment, you will create a new HTML document called css.html to our folder. So we need to create a new one instead of starting with these. So create a new HTML document to your folder called css.html. So I'm going to go to Komodo Edit, down here, click New File, and I'm going to right away save it to my folder. But first, let's snap this to the side of our screen. You notice Komodo Edit wants to take up a lot of space, so you may have to snap it more than once or adjust it like this because it's wanting to take up a lot of extra space. So next, I'm going to click Menu. Don't click over here because sometimes this doesn't always work for Save File from here. So if you click on the Menu button, it works every time, or should. It is technology, so it's bound to mess up. And I need to go to my folder, so Documents, Mr. Rogers, FOWD, select my folder, and right here I'm in the correct one, and it needs to be css.html, and save. So I went a little fast for that, but css.html inside of your folder. Let's make sure this is recording. Very good. Alright, now it says down here after that, like the index.html and HTML documents, it should have this included. You can copy the index.html and simply change the content between the title tags and body tags. So let's do that. I'm going to open up my index.html from my folder. So you saw it was in A4.1 Rogers, and I'm just going to copy it. So just take all the HTML coding. Now you can right click and hold and click copy, or hold down Control and press C. So I'm going to do that. And then if you want to paste, hold down Control and press V, or right click and paste. It's up to you which you want to do. So we just put in all this text here, and we're just going to change what is there. So it says here, add the heading between the opening and closing body element, add the following content. So I need to find my body element in here. So here it is right here. And I have all this text here as well. And let's take a look at our screenshot and the instructions, so that way we can understand where we're supposed to go with this text. So I'm going into my instructions folder and to images. So A4.1 instructions, and here I have all my screenshots. So let's take a look at 1.1, and you can see when it loads here that we have the stuff from index.html in here. It's taking its sweet time. So the laptop isn't the fastest that I have, but just because of practicality, I end up having to use it for this one. There we go. So you can see Foundations of Web Design. Make sure you title your document properly. So we're actually changing the title, and you'll see that in the text there later. But here I have my links, and then after that, I'm actually going to get rid of the 37 and that description. So still I want the links there, but the rest I'm going to get rid of. So I'm going to go back to, I'll exit out this for now, and go back to Komodo Edit. And let's just get rid of this right here. So I got all the links, which I want, and then I'm just going to get rid of this part right here. Also, let's get rid of the block quote because we're not actually using that. And right in here, so div ID main, this is the main part, this is navigation. So inside of here it says I need to include heading level 1 element with the text Foundations of Web Design. So let's include that. H1, you can see I'm typing in the tag, finish it, it puts that in there, and let's put in Foundations of Web Design. And then it says here add a text heading level 2 with the text learning CSS. So I'm just going to click behind the closing tag, press enter, type in header 2, and then add in learning CSS. Make sure you're saving throughout the process, so I can hold down the control button and press S to do it. And then it says here, remember this text should also be in the title element that is in the head element. So let's go up here to title, and we're changing it to learning CSS. But I believe actually in the screenshot, let's double check that. Hopefully it'll open a little faster. It actually says FOWD, learning CSS. So let's do that as well. So go back to Komodo Edit, I'll X out the picture, and type in all caps FOWD space colon space. Make it look nice. Alright, so we finished the adding a heading part. And then in the instructions we have add paragraph. So after level 2 heading, place the following text within a P paragraph tag, or element, excuse me, and it has all this text right here. So after that, I need to press enter, tab, create the paragraph tag, and then just copy and paste. Don't take the time to type. In web design, you want to figure out where you can save time. Now you notice when I copied it, which I use control, holding that control and pressing C, and then pasting with control and V, that it changes, it's so long. Well, if I want, I can click up here on the menu button, choose, go down here, and I can set it to word wrap. And just check this box, and it'll make it all stay on the one screen, which will be very convenient, especially if you have a small screen like mine. Of course, you're working on hopefully the computer. So we added the first paragraph. Now we need to add another paragraph. After the first paragraph text, place another element, paragraph element. So I'm going to click behind this, press enter, create another paragraph tag, and I'm going to put in these words right over here. And save it. So it looks just like that. So make sure your document is matching. Remember, if you need to pause while you're watching this video to do the step, if I'm going too far ahead of you. So don't be afraid to pause while you're going through this, so that way you can make sure you are staying step by step. Next instruction, we need to add the pre-formatted text. So next, add the following text just as you see it between the pre-formatted pre-tags. Now we're going to type those in. Note, you do not need to worry about placing the paragraph element around them. So that means I gotta click over here, push the enter button, and then I need to type in pre-tag just like that, so you can see it down here, and then type in the text. Selector, curly bracket, declaration block, and save. So far it's working. Now we have add image. Then directly after closing the pre-tag, so be right over here, download the syntax css-syntax.png, excuse me, and then you need to insert that image. Well, you're not going to actually download it. You're actually going to need to go into your instructions folder. So right here, and you can see there's this folder, A4.1. I'm going to double click on that, and this is the picture that's talking about downloading. What you're going to do instead is right click on it, or click on it, hold down control, and you can press C to copy it. So I'll copy with the mouse this time, and then you need to go to your folder, A4.1, your last name, and you need to put that in your images folder. So you have me, and then of course CSS syntax. So I already have it in here, but you would right click and just choose paste to include it in here. So that way you can put it in the HTML file. And let's do that right now. So hopefully you moved it. I push enter. And then for an image tag, some of you can maybe remember, you do the opening arrow, bracket, image, space, and then src, because it's searching, equal sign, oh, I actually put a little dash, equal sign and quotation marks. And in here, now I needed to go into my images folder and then pull out the css-syntax.png. So I'm going to type in images, because that's my folder it's looking for, / css-syntax.png. And make sure you add that little closing arrow, the closing bracket as it's called over here. Save it, and then let's take a look at it in a preview. So I'm going to click over here, my menu button, choose browser preview, but I'm going to do it actually to view and then browser preview over here. And then I'm going to remember for the selection and click preview. And now I'm going to rotate it, the browser preview, to make it a little easier for us to look at it. There we go. And you can see down here, here's my picture, links, Foundations Web Design, Learning CSS, and here's all the information right here that they have. And so it looks like, let's look at our screenshot and see if it matches. So go to your instructions. Otherwise, just keep watching this video and I'll open it as well, if it'll load fast enough. And then you can see it basically matches. Now, some of it's a little bit different. So this part where it says make sure your links work, we haven't gotten to that yet, so don't worry about it. This is the end result of this video. Alright, so I'm going to exit out of our preview again. And then we're going to continue on. So we've gone past that first part, let's keep going. Now, using CSS as style. In the final step of working with your css.html document, you'll add some CSS to the page like you did in assignment 3. This time, they're not going to give you the CSS to copy and paste. You'll have to figure out the rules needed from the description. So I'm going to kind of help you out, make it a little bit easier. Now, adding CSS, place the style element so it's contained within the head element and placed just after the closing title tag. So I need to go up here to the top. Here's my head element, and it needs to be placed just after the closing title tag. So over here, click after this, press enter. Now it's in my head area, so I'm just going to leave it here. And I need to type in style and have my brackets there. Now you don't have to type in CSS rules go here because you already know the CSS rules are going to go there. Alright, add a CSS rule with the style within the style element. So we're in this text. We want to select the text to heading level element and set the font color to orange. Now some of you remember how it looks, but you got your selector that you have to type, and so we know from our instructions our selector is heading 2. So I'm going to type in H2 space, and then I need to put in the curly bracket and then put in my property and value. So it says here my property is color, so curly bracket, color, colon, and then value is orange, and then I separate it by a semicolon, and they then push space, so that way there's extra space if I want to change it. Now your header 2 line of text should be orange in your document, and check your work against the screenshot. So I save the file, and then I need to do a browser preview again. And you can see it did change the header 2 color, so my name is different, and then also Learning CSS is different. And they said to check it against the screenshot, so let's take a look and make sure. So Foundations of Web Design, perfect right there, looks good, just what we need. Alright, note there is a step linking the index.html and HTML documents that you'll need to work through. So it looks like we need to do it right now is what they're talking about. So let's take care of that. So HTML is referring to this page. So we basically need to get these other 2 links to refer to it. So, and it says here index and HTML.html. So HTML is already set to go because we had that in the document. But we need to change CSS. So I'm going to type in A, href equals quotation marks, and then I'm just going to put in the name for the file. So C, which is css.html, quotation marks, and the closing one, and then I need to move my anchor tag. That's what this is right here, the closing anchor, over here past CSS, and then I'm going to save it. And you'll notice when I look at my preview, I now have that link. And if I click on it, it goes to the css.html page, which is what we're working on right now. So no difference there, but you want CSS, all that. Okay, make sure you compare each HTML document you've created to the screenshots below. And so it shows each one. So CSS should look like this. So I'm going to open up my browser preview again. And I'll just look, foundations of web design. That looks good. Except it looks like, based on my preview or my images, that only index is going to have this picture of me and foundation of web design with my name at the top. So let's actually get rid of that from the CSS file right now. So up here at the top, towards the top of your document, basically just get rid of this right here. So the div ID and header, get rid of these right here. So make sure it matches. So I'm in the css.html file looking at it right now. Let's delete that, save it, and then what I need to do is, because my links were up above it, I need to move those down past my learning CSS header in order to get it to match the screenshot over here. So I'm just going to copy it. I need to get the whole list right here. And actually, let's get, the whole list right here. Cut that. Actually, I'll show it again so you can see it. So this whole list, the unlisted items, select that, cut, and then it goes right under learning CSS. So press enter, tab, and put that all in there. And you can see that. It looks like it. I'm just going to tab it over so it's a little bit easier to look at. Alright, save it. And now you can see it looks more like what mine is right here. Of course, they have a home button for index in CSS as well. So let's take care of that too. So I'm actually going to add to this list. So you just moved it down, got rid of the picture, and so I'm going to press enter. And I'm going to have to move the tab back one. So I hold down shift and push tab to make it move back. And then opening tag, li, closing. Great, I already got it going here. And then what I'm going to do is put ahref, so it's searching for that website, and it needs to be index.html, because remember, your home page is always your index. And then I'm going to close that off, and then I need to type in here, as you can see over here, the word home. And then I can save that. And by doing that, I'm making it look just like my screenshot, which is what at this point you're wanting to do when it comes to the links. So great, that's looking very good. Now the font, you can see it's a little bit different here. Orange color matches, just depending on what the default is on your computer, it may look different. So with his, it's looking more bold because he's using Mac. Ours is different because we're using Windows. Alright, so that was CSS page. Now it says we need to check index and make sure our links work. So let's go to the index one, which I have open right now. I'm actually going to close this browser preview, and I'm going to preview my index file. I'm going to tell it to remember the selection. It's just an easy way to save yourself a step. See, CSS is not set up as a link. So let's scroll down to that. And you can see right here I have to add it in the same information. So I'm going to add a link tag. So a space href equal quotation css.html quotation marks closing arrow. And then I need to move the anchor over. So I'm going to select it, cut it, and then paste it after CSS. I'm going to save it. It updates my browser preview. And excellent right there. It looks just like how it does here in this screenshot. And then I go to my HTML page and I have to update the link as well. So I'm going to exile the browser preview and I'm going to open up HTML.html. So I go to open. I'm going to need to go to my folder, and it's already there. Double click on HTML. And then I have to go down to my link. So it's right under Learning HTML. So just scroll down till you see it. So let's also do a browser preview as well. So I'm going to click Menu, Browser Preview. Remember the selection. That way if you open it multiple times on this computer, you know. Now you can see in the HTML document, we don't actually have the links. So we're going to need to add them in. And basically the easiest way to do it is just go to one of your past files and add it in. So I would actually go to css.html and add the links from there. So right over here, I can do that. So I'm just going to take this unordered list from CSS. It's right under the headers. I'm going to copy it. Don't cut it. Copy it. So Control C. Go over to HTML, and you can see in my folder, my file, it's in the body tag. And so I'm going to want it there. And even in the screenshot, it's actually towards the top, right under the headers. And we actually have to add those headers in as well. So you could actually copy more than just this list. Let's do that. Actually, it'll be easier. Copy up from UL all the way up to header 1, Foundations Web Design, and we'll change this to Learning HTML. So copy, and let's go over here to the body tag. And what we'll do is just right after, oh, you know what, I need to change this to word wrap so that way I can see it properly. There we go. I'm right after the iframe, or excuse me, right before the iframe. I need to push enter, so right under body, so I click after it, and let's paste that in. Save it so you can see how it looks. And okay, good. So I have just like here, except I need to change CSS to HTML and save it. So now I'm making it look just like my screenshot, except I need another header under here, and this one is H3, as you can see by the size, and it's going to be after my links. So after this unordered list, push enter again, and then I'm going to hold down shift and press tab to go back one, indent, and do header 3 and type in adding a movie and save it. And there you go. Now it's actually matching all our screenshots. Make sure you have the links all right. So I should have JavaScript in each one, and I can actually just click on my links now and see HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So we just looked at HTML, and now we're looking at CSS. They all look great. So make sure you save all your files quickly just to make sure they're good to go. And then we have to validate the document. Now, this is a good way to catch any errors and correct them. So the only problem in your CSS.html document you should see is one warning that says using experimental feature HTML5 conformance checker. That may come up, we'll see here. So I'm going to click validate, and it's going to come up here in my instructions box, and I'm going to click browse, and you validate by file upload. So I need to go to my folder with that in there and update and validate each one. So let's start with CSS. Click check. An image element must have an alt attribute except under certain conditions. You know what, and the thing is, it works completely fine. So we don't need to worry about that. Okay, and then let's do another file. So let's check the other ones. HTML.html, check. Frame border attribute on the iframe element is obsolete. Use CSS instead. So it's actually wanting us to use a little bit different than what they have. We're just going to stick with what we have. HTML, it's amazing how quickly it's changed. So there's a couple newer things you could use, but this one will work just fine. And then let's check index, last but not least. And you want to validate each one. And it's saying missing scheme, but in the end, it's completely fine. So I'm going to push the back button until I get to the instructions. If it'll let me, oh, it looks like it's not going to do it. So I'm going to open up my folder, go back to the instructions page, and bring this back up. If it'll let me snap it. There we go. All right. So I'm going to scroll back down here to validate. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we need to upload it. So you're going to have to create an account on a web server website. The way you're going to do this is you're going to need your email. You can try Plus Portals. I'm not completely sure if it'll work. If you have your own personal email, I recommend that instead. So I've created an account on here. I'll kind of go through how to create an account just so you can see it. And the website you need to go to, I'm just going to search for with Yahoo, is 000, so 3 zeros, webhost.com. And it's a great free website, so you don't have to pay for it. Me, I like things free. And you can see right here, free web hosting. This is actually one that's been open for a really long time and still going. So free sign up. So yes, it's absolutely free. Click on that and sign up for this. Now obviously, make sure your parents know about this account, because I'm actually going to be sending an email out to your parents anyways to let them know. You do need one for this class. So if your parents have some issues with this, we'll have to talk to them, but I don't think they would. You just put in your email and then your password and your website name. So what you would want the name to be. And then later on, I'll tell you how to properly show the assignment, but you'll need to know me what your website name is. And it'll just be in front of it. So and you just click get free web hosting. You may have to validate your email. If you need more instructions with this step, obviously in class, get my attention. I can show you. I'm actually just going to log in to my account very quickly. So I've already made an account on here with mine. So you're going to get to your members area. That's where you need to be in order to upload this. Now, they talk about in the instructions, you will need an FTP application to upload. And of course, it says here you'll be given information. Well, you're going to have to make one for this. That's how we allow it to be only $15 for the class. For your textbook. You'll need an FTP application to upload for both Mac and PC. I suggest you use CyberDuck. Well, the nice thing is a lot of websites now, you don't need file transfer protocol. If you have a lot of files, that would be something good to use. Right now, we can just upload it this way. So what I'm going to do is when I log into my account, you can see it up here. Mine is VCA-FOWD. And you can see it's right here. So whatever you name it, it's going to put it a period and before 000webhostapp.com. And I'm going to click on it so you can see it. I've already actually uploaded some of the stuff to it. So I'm going to go into my file manager, which is up here at the top, because that's where you're going to upload your files. I'm going to quickly get rid of some of them so you can see how it looks. So file manager, scroll down here, and it says you can upload files now. So I'm going to click on upload files now, and then it goes to my actual uploading area and where I can see all my different files. So it's redirecting the file manager where I need to go. So you log into your account, file manager. Now you can already see I have different files. I'm going to delete these because I want to show you how to upload them. And I'm also going to delete this folder as well. Now you can see I already have a website here. This is just one that I had for summer day camp. Extra games that they could play, some of the older kids during the summer. We don't need to worry about that. Now it says we need to upload our files. So we know they're in the folder, and when we upload it here, you're going to make it set up basically the same way. Now, First off, let's start by uploading our HTML documents. So over here, I have this thing. It's a picture of a cloud with an arrow, and that's upload file. So I'm going to click on that and choose select files. So that's one way I can do it, is going through here. And I'm going to show you the other way. So documents, Mr. Rogers FOWD, my folder with my exercises, and then I'm going to select all the HTML files. Don't do the images folder yet. It'll make sense later. Click open, and here I choose upload. And it's got to upload all three. Now the nice thing with HTML, it's so small. Look at that. I mean, literally 1.5 kilobytes. That's extremely small for size. It's great. Now for my folder, I can't actually upload the folder. What I need to do is click the plus arrow to create a folder, call it images. So again, the plus arrow's over here, and then images, and click create. It's going to do that, make my folder so I can see it up here. Double click on that. And in here I'm going to upload my files. Now one way I can do it is clicking the plus arrow. Another way I can do it is if I go to File Explorer, that's what this little yellow folder down here is, and go to my actual folder in here, I can get to my files and just use clicking and dragging on them. So I can click and drag these two and just drag them over here onto the web page and move them like that. And you can see upload files. There you go. You can do either one, whichever one you prefer will work just fine. And I'm going to go back to my public HTML folder, because you got public HTML and then you temp. Remember, index.html is always your home page. And so that's the one when people visit your website, they'll go to. The other ones are the extra ones. So now let's actually go ahead and look at our website. So I can right click on it, choose view, and voila, I can see my actual website created. So an introductory course, I can click on the HTML page. It has everything here that I needed, and then also CSS and everything over here that I needed. So this is great. We're finally getting to see the fruit of our labor coming to fruition. It's absolutely great to finally see that. Alright, now looking at it. Submission. Now that we've updated it, obviously anytime you're using 000 web host, you want to make sure that you log out of your account. So over here I have the power button. I can click on that. It'll log me out. And then also I can go to here and log out like this as well. And now the nice thing is you want to get to the point where you kind of memorize it, and the more you'll use it, you will. But of course, mine's VCA-FOWD period, and then of course this, and index.html. I can see my files. So for submission, you need to submit your assignment folder compressed, and then also provide a link to your website in the notes section of this assignment page. So basically what you're going to do instead is go to your folder, so where your stuff is saved, and what you're going to do is, so what you're going to do instead for it is I want you to actually look at your website. So I would go into here, Firefox, be looking at your index page, and I want you to just take the link, copy it, make a Word document. So I'm going to open up Microsoft Word. So my computer's going to take its sweet time with it, but basically you're just going to go into Microsoft Word, paste that link into it, and save it to your folder. Now when you save it, I want you to just name the Word document link, so I know exactly what it is. Don't put down different names for it to make it as easy as possible for grading it, so it takes the least amount of time for me. Just put down link for the name. So if you haven't used Microsoft Word before, which some of you may have not done that, you're going to click on the blank piece of paper when Microsoft Word comes up. For you it'll be a whole lot faster. And then just paste it in there. And then you're going to choose the save button, Now the first time you save it, you have to choose the location of it. So I'm going to choose Browse and get to my folder. So you would do Documents, get to your name, and then of course go to A4.1 and your folder, and then you're going to type in link, and that's it. Really simple to do, and that way I can easily check your page. And your home page should be this with index.html. So remember, email it to me through Plus Portals. That's one thing you need to do, and just have the link in there, and that's basically what the instructions are saying. So I hope that's clear to you on what you need to do with this assignment. Hopefully this video really helps you out as well. I'm planning on continuing to do that and making more. And great job getting this done. I'm excited to see the different changes. Hopefully you are too, to finally add some nice variety to the assignments. So have a good day. Make sure you submit those files, and I will see you in class.